All right, so we're diving into something pretty heavy today.
This one's...
It's a recent article, straight from Guyana. A Guyanese news source actually dated November 18th, 2024.
Oh, very recent.
Yeah, it just came out, and it's talking about road accidents.
Right.
And I know what you're thinking, another day, another tragic headline, but 117 deaths on Guyana's roads this year alone.
Wow, that's...
That stopped me in my tracks. And, you know, this deep dive isn't just about the numbers, it's about understanding why this is happening, especially to younger folks.
Well, and what's interesting to me is that the article mentions a decrease from last year. They recorded 156 deaths.
Oh, wow.
In the same time frame in 2023.
So it's better, but still.
So on the surface, that seems positive, right?
Yeah, you'd think so. Fewer accidents, fewer deaths.
Right.
But still, losing so many lives, especially young people, is a tragedy.
Yeah.
And the article quotes the traffic chief himself. He says, road deaths are one of the leading causes of deaths in Guyana. We are at 117 now, so we are more than 2 or 3 persons a week dying on our roads.
That's a chilling thought.
Yeah.
2 or 3 families a week.
Yeah.
Dealing with this kind of loss.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder if Guyana's rate is abnormally high.
Yeah.
How does it compare to other countries?
Right.
And it's not just the raw numbers. We need to understand the why. What are the unique circumstances contributing to these accidents in Guyana?
Well, the Minister of Home Affairs makes a point of saying that most of the victims are the younger persons between 18 and 35.
Oh, wow.
Think about it, 44 men in that age range alone. Why is this age group so disproportionately affected?
It's a question that needs unpacking.
Yeah.
Is it a cultural thing, a sense of invincibility among young men, or perhaps economic factors play a role? Maybe younger people can only afford older, less safe vehicles?
Right.
We need to delve deeper.
And the article does touch on a possible solution, albeit a simple one. It mentions that November is Road Safety Awareness Month in Guyana, with this year's theme being Do the Right Thing.
Okay.
They're even planning nationwide campaigns going into schools and talking directly to drivers.
Do the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's straightforward, but it hits home. It puts the onus on individuals to be responsible to think about their actions behind the wheel.
Right.
But I have to ask, are awareness campaigns enough?
Yeah.
We see them everywhere, but do they truly change behavior?
That's a good point.
What if we looked beyond individual actions to address the root causes?
You're making me think about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
What about systemic changes? Could improving infrastructure be part of the solution? What about stricter enforcement of traffic laws?
Exactly. Absolutely. Let's take Sweden, for instance. They've adopted what they call a Vision Zero approach.
Vision Zero. Okay, I'm intrigued. What's that all about?
Well, the name pretty much says it all. They aim to eliminate all traffic fatalities and serious injuries.
Really?
Their philosophy is that no loss of life is acceptable. So road safety is paramount.
That's ambitious.
Yeah.
How do they actually put that vision into practice?
They've got a multi-pronged approach. They've made significant investments in infrastructure,
Okay.
things like roundabouts and pedestrian-friendly streets.
I see.
But it goes beyond that. They've implemented stringent speed limits, made driver education programs really rigorous, and they're not messing around with law enforcement either.
So it's not just one magic bullet, but a whole system designed for safety.
Exactly. And the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Sweden boasts one of the lowest road fatality rates worldwide.
Wow. That's remarkable. Are there any other countries doing things differently that we could learn from?
The Netherlands is another great example. They've been leading the way in cycling infrastructure.
Oh, interesting.
Think extensive networks of bike paths and dedicated cycling lanes.
Okay.
It's not just about reducing traffic on the roads. It's about making cycling a safer, a more attractive way to get around.
I love that giving people safe, convenient alternatives to driving could be a game changer.
Right, and it's not just about infrastructure. The Netherlands is also big on traffic calming measures, like speed bumps and intentionally narrow streets.
Oh, wow.
These design elements encourage drivers to slow down naturally.
It's fascinating to see how different countries are tackling this problem. I'm curious, what lessons could Guyana learn from these examples? Are there any strategies that stand out as particularly relevant to their situation?
Given the high number of young people involved in accidents, investing in driver education programs, specifically targeting that age group, seems crucial.
Yeah.
Equipping young drivers with the knowledge and skills to navigate the road safely is a must.
Makes sense. And what about infrastructure? Any areas where Guyana could focus their efforts?
Well, the article doesn't go into specifics about the condition of Guyana's roads. Generally speaking, safer infrastructure is key. Things like well-maintained pedestrian crossings, Better lighting and clear road markings can significantly reduce the risk of accidents.
Those are all practical steps that could make a difference. And of course, we can't overlook the importance of law enforcement. How critical is strict enforcement of traffic laws?
It's absolutely essential. Laws are only effective if they're enforced consistently. When people see that speeding, drunk driving, and not wearing seatbelts have real consequences, it sends a powerful message.
Right.
It creates a culture of accountability on the roads.
It's about changing behaviors and creating a social norm where safety comes first.
Exactly. And it's not just about punishing people.
Right.
It's about educating drivers and making sure they understand the very real consequences of their actions.
You know, as we're talking about all these strategies, it strikes me that there's a common thread running through them, a sense of shared responsibility.
That's a great observation. Road safety isn't just the government's problem to solve. It's a collective effort. Individuals, communities, and institutions all have a role to play.
It's about recognizing that we all have a stake in making our roads safer. Drivers need to make responsible choices, pedestrians need to be aware of their surroundings and follow the rules, and communities need to advocate for safer infrastructure and policies.
Exactly. It's a shared responsibility that goes beyond national borders. We can learn from each other's experiences and work together to create a world where road accidents are the exception, not the norm.
That's a powerful idea, and it brings us back to Guyana's Road Safety Awareness Month theme, do the right thing.
It's a simple message, but it really resonates. It's a call to action for each of us to make conscious choices that prioritize safety.
And a reminder that even small actions can have a big impact, whether it's buckling up, sticking to the speed limit, or simply being more aware of our surroundings. We can all contribute to a safer road environment.
Absolutely. Every decision we make behind the wheel or even as a pedestrian has the potential to save lives, including our own.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. It's clear that road safety is so much more than just statistics. It's about people, about the choices we make, and about our shared responsibility to protect one another.
Couldn't agree more. It's a topic that deserves our attention, our empathy, and our commitment to finding solutions.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. Yeah, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale of this problem,
Right.
when we look at the numbers, but we can't forget that every single one of us has the power to make a difference.
Absolutely. Road safety isn't just a task for governments and policymakers. It's a human issue, and it demands our collective attention and action.
I think sometimes we fall into the trap of thinking that our individual actions don't really matter, but that's simply not true.
Exactly. Whether it's making responsible choices when we're behind the wheel, advocating for safer streets in our communities, or even just talking about road safety with our families and friends, we all have a part to play.
Yeah, it's about changing our mindset, going from being passive bystanders to actively creating a safer world for everyone.
And remember, even small gestures can have a ripple effect. Something as simple as letting a pedestrian cross a street safely can set a positive example and inspire others to do the same.
Right, it's those everyday actions that can ultimately lead to a cultural shift towards greater awareness and responsibility on our roads.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'd like to leave you with this thought. Look beyond this conversation and explore what's happening in your own community. Are there organizations working to improve road safety? How can you get involved?
That's a great point. We all have a responsibility to stay informed and engaged in this issue. It's easy to just scroll past a headline, but remember, every single one of us has a role to play in making our roads safer.
Let's make a commitment to drive with care, look out for each other, and work towards a future where road accidents are not just a statistic, but a distant memory.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into road safety. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe.